This exceptional clock is by John Knibb, who was born in 1650 and died in 1722. He was, by 10 years, the younger brother of his more famous Joseph Knibb, under whom he apprenticed in Oxford in 1664. In 1670, when Joseph left for London, John took charge of the Oxford workshops and received the freedom of the city in 1673. And he was to remain in Oxford, where he established a great reputation, and he even went on to become the city's Lord Mayor on 2 separate occasions. The elegant case has an oak carcass, which is entirely veneered with olivewood oysters, and set into the veneers are boxwood and ebony parquetry flower heads. Parquetry is a geometric arrangement of wood inlay, whereas the more common marquetry employs a more decorative pattern of designs or pictures. The plinth of this clock rests on ebonized bun feet, and it has a fine quality moulding just beneath the trunk door. The door has iron hinges, and it has an oval brass frame lenticle to view the pendulum swinging backwards and forth. The inside of the trunk door is pasted with a label denoting that this clock once formed part of a famous collection which was amassed by the avid collector David Weatherfield. The rising hood has a convex throat moulding, which is flanked by ebony twist columns, and to the sides are walnut, silk-backed sound frets. The very beautiful gilt brass 10-inch square dial is fully latched and signed John Knibb Oxon Fecit, at the base interrupting the wheatear-engraved border. The very delicate silver skeletonised chaptering is pierced with Roman chapters, with trident half-hour markers, and an outer concentric ring with every minute engraved. The centre of the dial has low-position winding holes, indicating it has months duration, and the very lovely blued steel hour and minute hands are beautifully pierced and sculpted. It is worth dwelling for a moment on the silver chapter ring. As I handle it here, note how incredibly thin and delicate it is. The craftsmanship is extraordinary, but if it was any thicker, it would give the dial a clumsier appearance, and Knibb never made clumsy clocks. Also note the multiple silver feet on the back of the ring, which are much more difficult to make, but they're necessary in order to keep the ring flat to the dial plate. The month duration movement is in exceptionally original condition. It has 6 latched and ring-turned baluster pillars. The trains have typical fat steel pinions and convex brass collets. The going train has anchor escapement with the original butterfly rating nut above the brass rod pendulum. The strike train employs an external count wheel, which strikes the hours on a bell above the long, thin movement plates. You could argue that each and every clock is unique. However, this particular clock is unique to anything else that John Knibb made, and indeed any of the clocks made by his brother Joseph. This is the only clock by John Knibb that has this ebony and boxwood inlaid case, combined with the month-going movement and silver skeletonized chaptering. The whole clock is a unique tour de force, and one that any collector should be proud to add to his collection.